Imagine the following scene: a seemingly harmonious family until the limits of respect begin to dissipate as smoke to the wind. Especially when it comes to control, that suffocating control that some mother-in-law exert on married children, as if marriage were just an extension of their own home. This is exactly what happened to a young wife, whose limit was exceeded at the most unexpected moment, when a simple can of red caviar in the refrigerator detonated an explosion of truths that would forever change the dynamics of that relationship. Good night, dear listeners. Here it is Andre Branco, and it is with great satisfaction that I share with you another real story on the Entrelaced Souls channel. A narrative that will make you rethink the boundaries between care and invasion, between love and control. Prepare for a lesson of dignity. Elena Ivanovna Kostramina, at age 62, considered himself an unquestionable authority in family affairs. After all, who else could teach the neighbors to raise children, give homework lessons to former workmates, and now guide the newly arrived daughter-in-law? When his only son, Kirill, a successful programmer, married Doria, a project manager in a construction company with a salary of 80,000 hryvnias per month, Elena found a new purpose: overseeing each penny spent by the couple. For her, their lives were an outrageous waste. How did you dare to buy quality products when they could survive with the minimum? Like Doria, an independent and hard-working woman could be so irresponsible in the eyes of her mother-in-law. Each purchase became a reason for conflict. First, it was the coffee machine of 30,000 hryvnias, a gift that Kirill chose his finger at his wife on her birthday. Elena ignored the facts and accused of manipulating her son. Then came the 25,000 winter jacket, a nonsense. In the market is 5,000. He raised, as if the comfort and self-esteem of Doria had no value. Kirill, divided between love for his wife and respect for his mother, tried to mediate, but his interventions were fragile, almost imperceptible. He loved Doria, but his mother's voice was still echoing in his head like a command. So most of the time, he was silent. Dairy, in turn, he felt the pressure to grow with every unnamed visit, with each criticism of cleaning the house, with each acid commentary on his purchases. Do you spend 20,000 a month on food? This is a theft, repeated Elena, as if quality was synonymous with extravagance. Dairy explained, asked for understanding, but his words beat a wall of prejudice. Until that fateful Thursday arrived. Doria had just returned from the supermarket, where he bought everything for a special dinner: marbled meat fillets, fresh asparagus, fine cheese and, as a final touch, a red caviar can for 2,000 hryvnias. It was not a necessity, but a gesture of affection after all. The next day I completed a year of the first date with Kirill. She organized purchases in the refrigerator when she heard the key spin in the lock. Elena Ivanovna entered as a hurricane, without warning, without ceremony, with the arrogance of those who judge the owner of that space. "Dairy, are you there?" he announced, without even greeting. "Good morning, Elena Ivanovna," said Doria, already exhausted, leaving the kitchen. "I don't need permission to visit my son," the mother-in-law cut, looking around with disdain. "Where is Kirill?" "Still at work. Arrives around 7. Elena's eyes fell on the scattered bags. Without asking for permission, she marched to the fridge and opened it as an inspector for evidence. "What is this? More waste?" he asked, turning the products. Doria felt the blood boil, but contained. "It's the shopping for dinner. Tomorrow is a special day for us." "Special day?" Elena mocked, taking the packet of meat. "Marbled steel. You lost the judgment. Common meat fits perfectly." Doria took a deep breath. "Elena Ivanovna, is our money. We have the right to spend it as we well understand." "Your money?" The mother-in-law, now furious. "You live at the expense of my son. He works, sweat on his face, while you here, squandering." It was then that their fingers found the caviar can. Elena froze for a second, then ripped the product from her shelf and shook it in front of Doria's face, red of anger. "Caviar for 2,000 hryvnias? You are not ashamed? In my times, we do not even decent meat saw, and you here, stuffing themselves with delicacies. My son kills themselves to work, and you suck everything from it." The words were like knives. Dairy, who shared the bills with Kirill, who paid half of the rent, half the expenses, who worked as much as her husband, felt something inside her crack. "Enough," she said, with a firmness that surprised herself. His voice was cold, uncompromising. "I earn 80,000 a month. I pay half of our expenses, including supermarket and accounts. This caviar? I bought it with my money. Just like most of what is in this refrigerator." Elena laughed with disdain. "Lie. Woman does not earn so much. Must be forging proof." Without blinking, Doria took the phone, opened the bank's app and showed the last 3 extracts: 82,000. 79,000. 85,000. The mother-in-law stared at the screen, incredulous, but stubborn. "Still, you live at his expense. The house is his, the accounts are his." "The house is ours," said Doria, without raising his voice, but with an authority he had never shown before. "We bought together, with the entry paid in equal parts. And the bills? We divided everything in half. Always." Elena tried to argue, but the words came out weak. "You manipulate him. Make him spend on nonsense." "Nonsense," repeated Doria, now without hiding the disdain. "The coffee machine was his gift to me. The coat. I bought it with my salary. And this caviar." The silence that followed was eloquent. For the first time, Elena Ivanovna had no answer. Not because Doria had shouted or made a scandal, but because finally she had spoken with the naked truth and the dignity of those who need not prove their value to anyone. That was no longer the daughter-in-law who was silent. She was a woman who had recovered her space. And at that moment, the balance of power in that family has changed forever. "The jacket. I bought it with my money. Just like this caviar. And since we talk about spending, we may remember who, every month, gives 5,000 rubles to your child for your livelihood." Elena Ivanovna paled. "It was true that I received financial aid from Kirill, but always treated that as a required right, not as a gesture of generosity." "This is completely different," he said, raising his chin. "I'm your mother. I raised him, I dedicated my life to him." "Yes, you are your mother," said Doria, feeling something inside her rearrange forever like a door that closes with a definitive snap. "And precisely because it is your mother, it should be rejoiced that your child is happy in marriage, that he has stability, that he can offer his wife a quality life. But instead you make a scandal because of a caviar can." The Doria fingers tightened the edge of the table, the nails clutching into the wood. "Do not teach me to be a mother, and I will not teach you to be a wife. And you do not dare to move my refrigerator without permission. This is our home, our foods, and we decide what to buy. How dare to give me orders?" Elena Ivanovna's face burned. "I'm the owner of this house. This is my son." "His son is an adult man," Doria cut, his voice echoing as a verdict. "A man made, with his own family. And the owners of this house are me and him. If he doesn't like how we live, the door is open. Go back to yours." The ifs shook the caviar can as if a weapon. "Ah, so is it like this? Expels the mother of the son? Wait just, I'll tell everything to Kirill. He will know what kind of person you are really." "Tell," said Doria, with a calm that surprised her. "Tell how you invaded our house without warning. How you did a theater because of caviar and called me parasite. I would love to hear his reaction." Elena Ivanovna realized, too late, that she had crossed a line from which she had not come back. But pride didn't let her back down. With a sudden gesture, he threw the can on the table, the metal kneaded with the impact. "We'll still see who rules here." And it left, knocking the door so hard that the cups in the closet traded. Dairy was alone in the kitchen, looking at the deformed can. The hands trembled, not fear, but of an explosive mixture of anger, humiliation and, above all, relief. Finally, he had said what had burned his throat for years. Half an hour later, Kirill arrived. He immediately noticed his wife's tense expression. "What happened? You're shaken." "Your mother was here," said Doria, dries. "And?" He entered the kitchen, his eyes landing on the mashed can on the table. "What is that?" Doria told everything. Without editing, without softening. And with each word, Kirill's face darkened like a storm forming on the horizon. "Did she call you parasite?" He repeated, his voice a deaf growl. "That was the least offensive." Kirill took the phone. Elena Ivanovna answered on the first touch, clearly waited for the call. Kirill, my son, finally you called. I need to tell you something about your wife Dash. Mother. The word sounded like a warning. I already know everything. Doria told me. She lied. He insulted me, kicked me out of the house. You broke into our house without warning, made a scandal because of a caviar can and called my wife parasite. Kirill's voice was cold, sharp. Do you think I should tolerate this? Silence on the other end of the line. Elena Ivanovna did not expect her son to take no party from her daughter-in-law. Kirill, I'm your mother Dash. Precisely because it is my mother, I ask you to stop this absurdity. The firmness in his tone was new, irrevocable. Doria is my wife. She earns as much as many men, spends mainly her money and has every right to buy whatever she wants. I will not allow you to offend it. And if these things continue, I will have to limit our contact. But she spends her money on nonsense. These nonsense are called quality of life, mother. We can afford to eat well, and let's not live as oat porridge to calm their jealousy. Kirill paused, breathing deep. No one is turning you against me. I'm seeing with my own eyes. If you don't learn to respect Doria and our choices, there will be no united family for you to complain. The tears in Elena Ivanovna's voice were genuine. Son, I just worry about you Dash. I am an adult man, with a good job, a wife I love and a home. I don't need concern in the form of screams and insults to my wife. Another pause, definitive. Want to be part of our life? Learn to respect Doria. Otherwise, the visits will be rare. The phone hung up. And with him, an era. The following days were of a tense silence. Elena Ivanovna, wounded in pride, did not call. Kirill did not run to fix things either. He needed to process his mother's betrayal, who had chosen control instead of affection. Dairy, strangely, it was the one who suffered least. That confronted had been a catharsis. For the first time in years, it breathed without the weight of other expectations. A month later, the if could not stand it. He called Kirill. The conversation was formal, almost robotic, but there was an apology to Doria, cold, protocol, but an apology. It was a beginning. Over time, things fit. Elena Ivanovna did not show up without warning or search the refrigerator as a moral inspector. He still gave advice, but now more carefully, like who stepped on eggs. And at the first sign of pursued criticism, Kirill, always calm, always firm, remembered her. Mother, this is not your account. Dairy, in turn, he learned not to swallow frogs. If a comment was invasive, she cut him on the spot, without fear of looking rude or ungrateful. Family relationships were healthier, even if mutual understanding was never total. A year later, the couple won a child. Elena Ivanovna, ecstatic, did everything to redeem past mistakes. He criticized less, praised more, and gradually came to see in Dairy not a rival, but the mother of her grandson and the woman who made her son happy. As for the caviar can, it became a family legend. Whenever one of them wanted to buy something extravagant, the other played, "Just don't make a caviar scene." And they both laughed, remembering that day when, between screams and doors knocking, their dynamics changed forever.